Hi there everyone, welcome to another wine review by myself, the Natural Sommelier. I hope you're all keeping well and safe and drinking some deliciously awesome grape juice as usual. Today we are going to be heading to northern Italy and we are going to be tasting a rather delicious red wine from Piedmont. We're going to be tasting the Valli Allessandrino Rosso 2019. Okay, no, I've never tried this before. I'm quite excited about this. It's a blend of 60% Barbera, 10% Dolcetto, and 30% Croatina. I hope I pronounced that right. Okay. Now, this particular wine is actually from a cooperative. Now, the cooperative that makes this particular wine came into being around 30 years ago, at a time in Italy when increasing numbers of people were starting to move to sort of cities to find various factory work. So a lot of sort of farms and stuff were losing their local sort of young men to obviously go and find work in the big cities. Okay. But three young men stayed behind, and they were from local farming families and decided to get together to discuss sort of the future of farming within the area that they live. And they were really deeply attached to the work and to their own land, but they also wanted to try and find new and slightly more modern ways of sort of making wine while still retaining traditional methods. Okay, so what they did at the start was they merged all of their vineyards together, and they built stalls for sort of farm animals so they could use organic manure to fertilise their fields and their vines. And the old ways were then combined with a very modern belief in sort of organic farming as the way of, you know, as a way sort of forward to the future, if you like, okay? And as part of the wider project known as contraction, as I say, which involves reducing the human impact on the natural environment as well. So I'm really excited about trying this. I've never tried it before. Got the bottle here. Okay. As I say, the wine itself is being fermented in vats and stainless steel. Okay. And then it's been macerated, as I say, for around 4 to 5 days before being bottled. It has an ABV of 12%. But let's crack it open and let's have a little taste, shall we? There we go. There we go. Oh wow, look at that. It's quite amazing actually. As soon as I started pouring the wine, the first thing I smelt was that lovely sort of earthy, crunchy fruit. I haven't even smelt the wine yet, but I was literally just pouring. I was like, oh my god, wow. That's quite exciting. But, you know, the first thing I noticed is that lovely sort of colour coming through, that almost sort of crimson, medium sort of crimson colour to it. Can you see that? It's really cool. There's a little bit of viscosity coming through. You can see it on the side of the glass there. And I'm also getting a little bit of effervescence in terms of sort of bubbles and stuff like that as well, which is really cool. But let's have a little smell and see what we think. Yeah. So this wine, for me, first off, does have a little bit of a like a slightly funky aroma to it. Not that that's a bad thing. It's a very particular style of winemaking. We call it natural, sort of low interventionist style of winemaking. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's delicious. A lot of people would not. It's not really necessarily their thing. That being said, combined with all of that, I'm also getting lots and lots of lovely fruit. Lots of sort of dark, brooding, bramble esque aromas. I'm getting lots of red fruits coming through as well. Lots of sort of cherries and slight cranberry aroma as well. It's a lovely wine actually. Yeah, it's really interesting. Really, really, really interesting. There's a little bit of a floral aroma coming through as well, but it's more on that sort of fresh, sort of violet character. That's quite typical of styles of wine from this part of the world. See, now it's opening up a little bit in my glass. It's actually starting to really reveal itself, which is quite interesting. Wow. I'm also getting a little bit of minerality coming through. I'm getting lots of sort of turned earth, almost like a mushroom truffle sort of esque aroma. Obviously, Piedmont's very well known for truffles, you know, for those who like cooking and stuff like that. So it's definitely a style of wine that could pair quite well with that style of cuisine, just off the nose, personally. But yeah, it's really, really, really interesting, actually. But let's have a taste and see what we think. Wow. So on the palate, it is very dry. The acidity is quite dominant in the wine, which I was expecting, to be honest, coming from sort of this part of the world. But the wine itself is very textural on the palate, which I personally enjoy as well. I'm getting all of those lovely dark brooding sort of bramble flavours coming through as well, but it's quite crunchy on the palate as well, which I quite like. I think it's a style of wine that could pair really well with food. I don't know if I could necessarily drink an entire bottle of it on its own, but I think for those who necessarily want to sort of get into the world of organic and sort of natural wines and stuff like that, it's a really great introduction. Yes, it's a little bit on the funky side. Do I think that's necessarily a bad thing? No, not really. It might put some people off. But actually, I think for a wine of, you know, the sort of style, I think it's absolutely delicious. I think it's really good fun. So as I said, this wine's actually available from Beer Ambleside or Beer Cockermouth up in the Lake District. Check them out, as I say, www.beergb.com. Okay, and as I say, it's available for £13, and I think for £13 actually it's a delicious wine. As I say, for those who like their natural wines, or for those who want to maybe try and start getting into the whole natural wine world, and don't want anything too over the top. I mean, I've tasted some natural wines which are really, really, really funky, and this certainly has a little bit of that funkiness to it, but it's actually just a very pleasant, super fruity, easy drinking style of red, which is perfect for midweek drinking, so definitely worth checking out, okay? As I say, check the guys out at Beer Ambleside and Beer Cockermouth, by the way. They've got a fantastic selection of natural wines and organic wines and stuff like that. They also have an amazing beer selection, which I am a huge fan of. Definitely worth checking out, okay? Also, don't forget to check out myself, The Natural Sommelier, on Instagram, okay, where you can catch up on all of my latest news and etc. But don't also forget to subscribe to my website, thenaturalsommelier.com, where you will find all of my latest articles and all of my latest wine reviews on there as well. But until next time, guys, cheers and keep safe.